Smile. Smile could be a spiritual sequel to It Follows. On paper, the films are very similar. Is this a bad thing? Not necessarily. It Follows is a fantastic movie, one of my favorites, so another film in the same vein sounds right up my alley. It was. And to be fair, on paper, It Follows is a lot like The Ring, which really just proves we're talking about a bona fide horror trend, as opposed to the rehashing of a single person's idea or narrative. In Smile, the curse is passed not via video cassette, not via sexual intercourse, but via suicide witnessed by a lone survivor. Smile has great pacing, great effects, a crackling script, tremendous performances by talented actors playing complex, layered characters. I actually appreciated it more on the second viewing than I did the first, which says a lot. So I have a couple questions. Why does the entity take between 4 and 7 days to jump? And how does it choose its victims? I have some theories. Seems kind of like Rose is an innocent victim in all of this, but horror is a genre obsessed with karma and balance. We learn towards the end that her mother didn't exactly commit suicide. Her mother overdosed and asked for help from 10-year-old Rose, who decided not to call 911, knowing that it would result in her mother's death. She was young, not too young to realize the consequences. That's manslaughter. And in the horror universe, karmically, I think it's even worse. Of course, she feels guilty, spent her whole life trying to make up for it. But when the entity saw her, it knew what she had done, and it attacked her because the entity is the punisher of wicked children who are now adults. What? That's crazy. Where do you get this idea, Josh? I think there are clues. One huge clue. Remember that Rose got the curse from Laura, who says that in addition to seeing her professor commit suicide right in front of her, she saw her grandfather die when she was 7 years old. This detail comes up twice, once when it happens, and a second time when Rose is listening to a recording of their session. The filmmaker really wants you to notice that detail. Why? You think about it, 7 years old is a little young to watch your grandfather die of natural causes in a hospital room. Seems like something your family would shield you from at that age. No, here there is room for nefarious inference. Did Laura have something to do with her grandfather's death? Maybe indirectly, maybe she could have helped, but didn't. So, how does the entity decide how long to stay with a certain host? First of all, it wants to torment the hell out of you, wants to make you realize that the sins of your youth were not forgotten, were not buried, they still affect you now as an adult. It wants to destroy your life. It wants to fuck up your relationships and kill your pet. So then, it waits until it finds another suitable host, someone who it recognizes as perhaps an upstanding member of society, perhaps even a police officer, but who has something that he's hiding. way back in his childhood when he had a chance to save someone in mortal danger and chose to do nothing. Agree or disagree in the comments, but I will say this: the real victim in Smile is poor Mustache. And Jackson, just imagine if your aunt gave you a dead cat for your 7th birthday. That kid is gonna grow up effed up. Jesus.